We may have found a winning football team in New York, folks, but it's not by way of the NFL, but rather the rebooted XFL. Relaunched 19 years after its original violence-branded incarnation flopped, the now football-centric XFL resumed with a 23-3 win by the New York Guardians over the Tampa Bay Vipers Sunday at MetLife Stadium. An announced crowd of 17,634 watched as former Penn State and once Raiders quarterback Matt McGloin scored the first touchdown in Guardians history. We go inside the locker room for more.
Yeah, it was definitely a faster pace of a game. We need to improve a little bit on getting in and out of the huddle. I thought we broke the huddle a lot today with not enough time to do what we wanted to do at the line of scrimmage. So that's something we're definitely going to look to improve on this week as we prep for DC now. But in terms of the atmosphere, it was fantastic for week one. And I thought the fans were loud, I thought they were excited. And, we're going to need that type of energy from them every week.
As I told our team, and our team realizes our play today was unacceptable. We turned the ball over 3 or 4 times. I thought we didn't tackle as well as we needed to tackle in the first half. I thought we tackled very well in the second half. When you have over 400 yards of offense, you come up with 3 points, your play is just not acceptable.
We got to forget this. We got to make the corrections, and we got to get going. We can't sulk on this at all, and it's a long season. It's only week 1, for goodness sakes. Like I said, I thought we saw some promising stuff out there. We just got to make those corrections and understand this is we had 9 more games, and we just got to keep fighting and getting better.
That was pretty good football. I think anybody that loves the game of football saw with their own eyes, say, hey, you know what, this is something I can watch and enjoy and get behind. In terms of our fans, I thought they were ready to cheer. We just needed to give them a few more things to cheer about in the second half. But they were there, and I think the ones that were there enjoyed themselves, and they'll be back, and hopefully we'll have a few more joining with them.
Kevin Gilbride, a former Giants coach, got the game ball. It was a pretty nice opening weekend for the XFL and especially the Guardians. The XFL opened on Saturday, and its debut game drew 3.3 million viewers. ABC announced that number on Sunday and added that the viewership peaked at the end of the broadcast, which is a good sign that the game kept fans interested. Last year, the Alliance of American Football drew 2.9 million viewers for its first game. The AAF never reached anything remotely close to that number again and shut down before completing its very first season. But the XFL has a much better TV deal than the AAF had, After that first game aired on CBS, other games moved to TNT, NFL Network, CBS Sports, and Network and the streaming service for Bleacher Report. The XFL will continue to air on ABC, Fox, and ESPN throughout the season. The big question facing the XFL is whether it can hold on to that first-day audience or perhaps even grow as the season does move on. I'll have more perspective in the C-list. Time for some quick hitters from around the world of sports. Baseball is back this week as spring training camps around the majors begin. Thank goodness. The Boston Red Sox, LA Dodgers, and Minnesota Twins have come to an agreement on a reworked trade involving outfielder Mookie Betts and David Price. One deal is done, but another one is off. More trade drama. The Athletics' Ken Rosenthal reports that the previously reported trade between the Dodgers and LA Angels has been canceled. The Dodgers had agreed to send outfielder Jock Peterson to the Angels. Peterson is still available and will likely be moved very soon. Closer to home, the Mets said in a statement that they intend to find another buyer after talks ended over the proposed sale of a controlling share of the team to hedge fund manager Steve Cohen, while Jessica Mendoza, an analyst on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball since 2015, has reached a multi-year extension and will become the first woman to serve as a solo analyst on national baseball telecasts. In the process, she leaves her Mets post as an advisor to the club. On the ice, nice win for the Broadway Blue Shirts Sunday night. The New York Rangers beat the hapless LA Kings 4-1 and will now take on the Jets in Winnipeg on Tuesday night. The Devils host Florida in Newark tomorrow night, while the Islanders skate in Washington tonight. On the NBA hardwood, the Brooklyn Nets have won 2 out of their last 3 games, including back-to-back last Monday and Wednesday nights, before being edged by the reigning champs Toronto over the weekend. 119-118 final Saturday night. Raptors made it 14 straight wins. Here's more with the Nets from Brooklyn last week.
Phenomenal. You know, he was excellent on both sides of the floor. Obviously, Booker was, 3 for 15, right? 11 points. I saw you had like a little streak thing going with like the 29 points thing. So to hold him to 11, I mean, obviously, and win by 20, I think the difference in the game is probably the 20 points that he normally would have.
Playing a lot of minutes, especially playing with the ball in your hands, that gave me a lot of rhythm tonight. You know, my teammates gave me some really good looks as well, so it was easy for me to go out there and just compete.
We got a week coming and a lot of games. I mean, not many games, but we lost, like Coach said, we lost a lot of money on the road and at home this past few weeks. So just gotta be ready to play and take them all.
Speaking of heartbreaking losses, the Knicks were riding a 4-game win streak coming into Sunday's matchup with Atlanta. They had a chance to make it 5 in a row, but for the first time in years, Trae Young had different plans in overtime. Young had 48 points and 13 assists. John Collins added 32 points and 16 boards. And the Hawks beat the Knicks 140-135 in 2 overtimes. Last night, it was the ninth time Young had scored at least 40, second most in the NBA this season. The first time All-Star hit all 16 of his free throw attempts and knocked down 6 threes. Julius Randle finished with 35 points, 18 rebounds in the loss. The Orange and Blue host Washington Wednesday night at the Garden. The Nets, meanwhile, are in Indiana tonight, 7 p.m. tip-off on the road. Former NFL wide receiver Matthew A. Cherry won an Academy Award on Sunday for his animated short film, Hair Love. The 38-year-old former star at the University of Akron spent about 3 seasons in the NFL on the practice squads and rosters of several teams before walking away in 2007. He later moved to L.A. to pursue his dream of working in Hollywood. Cherry dedicated the award last night to the late, great Kobe Bryant. Legendary film director Spike Lee also paid tribute to Bryant with a Sharp Tux Sunday night. Check that one out. In college hoops, looks like the Tri-State may have found a very serious Final Four contender, maybe their best in the last 2 decades. Seton Hall and Miles Powell look for real. The 12th-ranked Pirates hung on for a 70-64 win over Villanova this past weekend. They have the team to compete in March Madness. In racing, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. won the pole for the 62nd Daytona 500, snapping Hendrick Motorsports' streak of 5 consecutive Daytona 500 poles. The big race goes down next weekend in Daytona. John Jones, regarded by many fans as the greatest mixed martial artist maybe ever, retained his title at UFC 247 Saturday night in Houston, but opinions on the outcome were anything but unanimous, even if that's what it was. Jones retained his light heavyweight belt following a surprisingly strong opening by Dominic Reyes. Even Dana White noted that he thought Reyes had a 3-1 edge entering the final round. Jones looked like he won the 4th and 5th rounds. White said he believed Reyes deserved and deserves a rematch. Jones faced his most serious challenge in years. He handed the 4th-ranked Reyes his first loss, improving to 14-0 in title fights. He became the all-time leader in UFC title defenses, breaking the record previously held by George St. Pierre. Those are the headlines. We hit the C-list for a closer look at the newest sport in town. The XFL is offering access to fans who can't afford to get close to the NFL. $30 tickets, same price as parking, and maybe a chance to get close to your favorite players. A large domestic beer costs $12, cheaper than NFL prices. More importantly, the football product is better than it was 19 years ago, a result of nearly 2 years of preparation. The football didn't feel like a sideshow on Sunday. At home, interest could also spike from the ability to gamble on the game from a mobile phone, at least in New Jersey, plus television technology like live listen-ins to play calls. The initial curiosity is over, though. Can the new XFL retain enough fans to succeed where its predecessors failed? That is the question. I think at the very least they make it through year 1, and for now that's all you can ask for if you are the XFL. And from the looks of it, I wouldn't be surprised if the Guardians bring a football championship to New York to boot too. Who would have thunk it? That's your sports. I'm Bobby C.